This woman is the most beautiful teacher that has ever set foot in this school. The students were captivated by her beauty. They had never seen such a gorgeous teacher before. However, no one expected what would happen next. A new teacher, Himika, arrives at the school. From the moment she stepped through the door, all eyes were on her. Her beauty was so captivating that it left everyone speechless. The students couldn't believe their eyes. They had never seen anyone like her before. Her flawless features, graceful demeanor, and elegant style made her stand out from the crowd. It was like she possessed a certain charm that drew everyone towards her. As she walked down the hallway, whispers and murmurs followed her like a swarm of bees. Everyone wanted to know more about this mysterious newcomer. Some couldn't help but compare her to the old teachers, wondering how she would fit in. Others were simply in awe of her presence, hoping to catch a glimpse of her as she passed by. But Himika seemed oblivious to the commotion she had caused. She walked with confidence, her head held high, as if she owned the place. Among the sea of faces, there was one student who stood out. His name was Joseph, a seemingly ordinary 16-year-old boy. But beneath his unassuming appearance, a dangerous obsession was brewing. He found himself captivated by the new teacher, Himika. He couldn't understand why, but something about her intrigued him. Perhaps it was her intelligence, her humor, or the way she commanded respect from her students. Whatever it was, it sparked a fire within him, a desire to be close to her, to know her better. But Joseph was not the only one intrigued by Himika. Other students couldn't resist the allure of the new teacher either. They wanted to be in her good books, to be the ones she praised and acknowledged. In the classroom, Himika was a force to be reckoned with. Her teaching methods were innovative and engaging, and she had a way of making even the most complex topics seem easy to understand. She challenged her students to think critically, to question everything, and to never settle for mediocrity. And while most of the students appreciated her dedication and passion for teaching, some couldn't help but feel intimidated. They struggled to keep up with her high expectations, and they felt the pressure to perform well in her class. Among them was Joseph, who found himself torn between admiration and resentment. He wanted to excel in Himika's class, but he also wanted to prove that he didn't need her approval to succeed. As the weeks went by, Himika continued to push her students to become better versions of themselves. She organized field trips, invited guest speakers, and encouraged them to participate in extracurricular activities. But all the while, Joseph couldn't shake off his obsession with her. He started spending more time at school, lingering in the hallways and trying to catch her attention. Himika noticed his behavior, but she didn't think much of it. She assumed that he just needed extra help, or maybe he was going through a phase. But little did she know that Joseph had something else in mind. One day, Joseph decided that he could wait no longer. He wanted to confess his feelings to Himika, no matter the consequences. So, during a break, he approached her while she was sitting at her desk, trying to look casual. Himika, can I talk to you for a second? He asked nervously. Himika looked up from her work and smiled politely. Sure, what's on your mind, Joseph? She replied, sensing that something was different about him. Joseph took a deep breath and tried to gather his thoughts. I wanted to tell you that you're beautiful, he blurted out, taken aback by his own boldness. Himika's smile faded and she adopted a serious tone. Thank you, Joseph, but I'm not comfortable with you talking to me like this. Please keep our relationship professional, she said firmly. Disappointed but determined, Joseph retreated, but his obsession with her only grew stronger. He couldn't understand why she didn't reciprocate his feelings, and it drove him crazy. From that day forward, Joseph became even more attentive towards Himika. He would compliment her, bring her coffee, and try to be by her side whenever he could. Himika, however, remained distant and polite, never letting him get too close. She sensed that there was something strange going on in his mind, and she was right. Joseph was consumed by his obsession with her, and he wouldn't stop until he got what he wanted. But he never expected how far she would go to protect herself. It all began when Himika noticed that someone had been secretly recording her inside her classroom. At first, she dismissed it as a prank by some bored students. However, when it happened again, she decided to investigate. Little did she know that Joseph was behind it all. He had managed to install a hidden camera in the classroom to spy on her and satisfy his twisted desires. One day, Himika discovered the camera and confronted Joseph. She demanded to know why he had been spying on her, and he responded with a smirk. I just wanted to see my favorite teacher in action, he said, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Himika was disgusted by his behavior and reported him to the principal. However, Joseph had anticipated her reaction and had already planted false evidence to incriminate another student. Once again, Joseph's twisted mind had outmaneuvered those around him, leaving Himika feeling helpless and frustrated. Despite the setback, Himika refused to give up. She knew she had to take matters into her own hands to expose Joseph and protect herself. So she came up with a plan. She began to purposely leave the classroom window open at night, hoping to catch Joseph spying on her once again. And as expected, he took the bait. Every night, Joseph would sneak into the classroom and record Himika through the window. He thought he was being clever, but he was only digging his own grave. Himika had anticipated his every move and had secretly installed a second camera inside the classroom to capture Joseph in the act. Meanwhile, Joseph was living in a world of his own, consumed by his obsession with Himika. He would replay the videos he recorded over and over, reveling in the sight of her sleeping in her bed. He believed that he was the only one who knew her secret, and it gave him a sense of power and control. But he had no idea that Himika was always watching him, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The day came when Himika decided to confront Joseph. She called him to her classroom after hours and closed the door behind him. Joseph was nervous but excited. He had no idea what Himika had planned, but he was eager to see where this would lead. When the coast was clear, Himika confronted Joseph, playing the recordings she had made on a loop. Joseph's face turned pale as he realized that he had been caught. But before he could react, Himika pressed the red button on the camera, summoning the police to the classroom. Suddenly, the door burst open and officers rushed in, tackling Joseph to the ground and placing him under arrest. As the handcuffs were placed on his wrists, Joseph looked up at Himika with hatred and fear in his eyes. He had finally been caught, and there was no escape this time. From that day forward, Himika became a symbol of courage and resilience. The entire school praised her for standing up to Joseph and protecting not only herself, but also her students. She had shown them that no matter how difficult the situation may seem, it's always possible to find a way out. As for Joseph, he faced the consequences of his actions and was expelled from the school. No other institution would accept him, and he was forced to live the rest of his life as a convicted criminal. He had ruined his future and destroyed his reputation, all because of his obsession with Himika, a teacher who had only wanted to do her job and make a difference in the lives of her students. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.